Hello, Libra, and welcome to your reading. This is Bright Soul Collective Tarot, and these will be your intuitive insights and advice for the month of February 2022. This reading will be for Libra Sun, Moon, and Rising. And as always, this reading is general in nature, so please do keep in mind that not all the messages that come through will necessarily pertain to your specific situation. So I highly encourage you to take whatever resonates for you and to keep an open mind about the other insights and concepts, taking with you anything that you might feel will be of benefit in the month ahead and simply leaving the rest. And I hope you're all doing well and your year is off to a great start. I'm so excited to read some cards and read some energies for you. I've got your 3 oracle cards here. I already shuffled the deck and these are the 3 that popped out for you. So I'm going to share with you some intuitive messages that I channeled before I started this video, and then I'm going to read the oracle cards for you. We will pull some tarot and some clarifiers and finish off with some affirmations to tie everything together. And it is my hope that I can connect you with some empowering and helpful information and insights that will allow you to connect more deeply to yourself and also the world around you, and have you feeling ready to step into February and just really make the most out of the energy that lies ahead. So we will start, I'll share with you the intuitive messages that came through, and then we'll move on to the cards. And so just do keep in mind, I'm just reading or channeling just for fun. And so these might not apply to you. They may or may not make sense. They may be very specific in nature and only apply to a very select few of you. So again, take whatever resonates and leave the rest. But I would be very curious to know if there's anything specific that does stand out to you. So to start off with Libra, before I even started channeling actual information, the one thing that I noticed is I had distortion. So when my eyes were closed and as I was centering myself, I saw like distorted, like waves almost. It was like squiggly, like energy in front of my eyelids, like between my eye and my eyelid. It was really weird. So I had that like visual distortion. And then what came to mind was rose-colored glasses also. And so this may be like a current energy or something coming up this month, but maybe there is some kind of distortion either in your perspective, the way that you are seeing or thinking about a situation, or, how you are interpreting it. So either there's distortion, maybe because of your own bias, or maybe because there's something that's being misrepresented to you. Or it could also be distortion in terms of, who you are on the inside and what you're portraying outwardly. So like kind of like distorting how other people see you and trying to influence that. And that being with rose-colored glasses, you may be a very positive person. You may like to focus on the positive and see the good. And what I would say is that there is a possibility that if you're trying to kind of look at everything through rose-colored glasses, or if you're hoping you're kind of creating an image that people will look at you through rose-colored glasses, that's like, it's all well and fine to focus on the positive, and it's definitely a beneficial thing to do, but we don't want to glaze over, the depths and the reality and our own personal duality, to kind of like to paint a pretty picture superficially, right? So, I would just say that if that applies to you, just beware of any kind of distortion, because you really want to connect with the truth of the matter, the truth of yourself, and make sure that what is coming to you and what you're putting out is authentic, and there's no kind of, there's no distortion there. The next thing I got was Fortress. So perhaps you're feeling like pretty fortified, pretty strong, pretty stable. You might be feeling really confident, but this could also be kind of a protective energy. Like maybe you've got your walls up, maybe you're hesitant to let people in. And so it's kind of like, the thing that just came into my head was I'm here for a good time, not a long time, like the song. And so I kind of feel like maybe you're looking to have fun, you're looking to connect with people, but it might just be on a lighter kind of level. You're kind of feeling hesitant to open up, to let anyone in and let people see the real you. You might feel a little bit of resistance to being vulnerable, so that might make sense for you. The next thing that came into me was incantations. And I think that's really funny because like incantations, we obviously associate that with like witches and witchcraft and like rituals and I don't know, like shamans and stuff like that. So I don't know, that may make sense to you. Maybe you have been connecting with individuals that practice some kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say witchcraft, but like maybe they have some kind of energetic or spiritual practice. This could even be just something like affirmations, maybe is something that you've been focusing on or repeating to yourself, because it really is just focusing on the power of words and being able to harness the power of words to impact, ourself, our mindset, our life, so on. The next thing that came was personal development. So it is very possible that either you have been focused on your personal development. This is something important to you. This is something that you maybe just kind of recognize that you need to be working on, maybe an underlying theme, or maybe this month it'll be a major focus for you. The next phrase that came to me was ingrained in me. So I'm not sure if that's like maybe you coming to a realization of the things that you have been, that maybe the things that you have absorbed, maybe the things that have been ingrained in you, either by, the decisions that you've made repeatedly, the life experiences that you've had, maybe the things that other people have said or done, the ways that you've been treated, the ways that you've learned to react or to exist in the world. So I kind of get the sense that maybe you are developing a little bit more clarity on your habitual behavior, and that subconscious behavior that's just kind of automatic, that maybe isn't in your best interest, or maybe you're kind of hoping to gain more clarity so that you can start releasing those things that are kind of automatic. The next thing that came to mind is England. So I don't know if England specifically has some kind of significance to you. Maybe it's somewhere on your list of places to go. Maybe you have gone there. Maybe there's a specific landmark or a place in England. Maybe there's family there. So however that applies to you. The next thing that came to me was Fantastic Four. And so obviously I know there's a movie, superhero in nature. So it could be that movie specifically if it makes sense for you. But I did get the sense that it wasn't so much connected to the movie or the concept of the movie. It's kind of like a friend group. I get the sense that it's like maybe there's a group of you, maybe you and 3 other people, and like you guys used to like work closely together, or you are a group of friends that used to hang out. It could even be family. And that you would like jokingly refer to yourselves as the Fantastic Four. And I got a sense of like reunion. So it's like, if that applies to you, maybe like reuniting with these people, maybe there's been some distance between you and these people, and you're kind of like coming into like a reunion, or kind of feeling nostalgic about those times that you shared. The next thing that came into my mind was a phrase or a concept that said sensuality above all else. So it kind of gives me the impression that maybe you are kind of focused on sensuality, pleasure, kind of experiencing things that are indulgent. So that could be all of the senses, and either like really focusing on aligning with things that are going to be the most sensual, the most pleasuring. So that like really enjoying good music, like good food, good drink, good company, surrounding yourself with beautiful things. And that doesn't surprise me either, because Libra is very much associated with, the senses and pleasure, the planet Venus, like the planet of love, and like all things that are beautiful. So you could be really, really focused on that. And I would say, just along with that, it's really wonderful to allow yourself to get into your body, to fully experience life through your senses. And just make sure that there's some moderation there, so that you're staying grounded and you're not getting too carried away, like overindulgence, because that could be a challenge in this energy. The next thing that I got was on foreign soil. So I'm not really sure, like it may have something to do with travel. Maybe you're somebody who likes to travel, or maybe you haven't traveled and you've been dreaming about it. Maybe you're currently traveling, or you do have travel plans for the month of February. But there's something to do with being like in a foreign land, a foreign place, somewhere that is not home. So I'm not sure how that might apply to your specific situation. The next thing that I got was Everclear, or I don't know if it's like one word like together or if it's like two separate words. Like I kind of think Everclear was a band. So I don't know, maybe if that band specifically has some kind of meaning to you, maybe their music, or if it's the words like Everclear, like maybe you've really been trying to kind of focus on clarity, like seeing things as they are, and really feeling clear and sure of maybe your path, maybe what's right for you, however that resonates. And then finally, the last thing that came to me was sun. And I wasn't really sure. Initially, I was like thinking like, oh, okay, sun, like the sunshine and all that. But actually, I think it's more of like sun, like a child. So not necessarily saying that you do have a child or you will have a child, because it really morphed quickly into son of a bitch. So I thought that was really funny. It made me laugh. So I'm not sure if that's a phrase that you use a lot. I'm not sure if there's someone specifically that you associate that phrase with and that might be of importance to you. Maybe it's a joke between you and friends, or it could actually be the song son of a bitch. Maybe that's like meaningful to you in some way, but that's what came up for your channeled messages. So let's go ahead and get into your oracle cards. So your first one says awakening, energetic upgrades, a new way of being, integration. That's kind of cool. Okay, your next card is Tiger Eye. And finally, you have Come to Life. All right. So it's interesting. It's interesting that awakening is here because that kind of goes very much hand in hand with this Come to Life card. And so I get this sense this might be something that has already started coming into your reality or coming into your awareness. And awakening, obviously, like, yes, there is a lot of spiritual energy here. So you might be a spiritual person. You might be kind of like working on your development, trying to kind of develop your relationship with yourself, become more aware of your intuition, like really kind of like finding yourself energy. And in terms of awakening and the spiritual side of things, a lot of times that does come through as clarity, right? So it could be just like moments of understanding or moments of realization, like aha moments where it's like things just kind of start to make sense, or you can kind of see the bigger picture in terms of like why something happened, or even sometimes, a lot of times, we have our awakenings in hindsight. So we are very caught up in the moment when things are happening to us and we can't necessarily see or understand their significance, and that makes it really easy to get caught up in like difficult emotions and get caught up in the experience itself. Because it's hard to know why. And sometimes it's not until after everything is said and done and we have some space from it. And sometimes it's like totally not relevant to our immediate situation that we can see what its purpose was, or at least, what we learned, what we experienced, how we were changed by it, and kind of be able to understand the bigger picture that experience played in our life. So I feel like maybe you're coming into an awakening where you're starting to understand more, you're starting to understand yourself more and the experiences that are important to you, the experiences that have shaped you, and the things that, while you didn't understand them at the time, now you're starting to go back and connect the dots, and you're putting this like puzzle piece together, like this puzzle of your life, and maybe even on a larger scale, like starting to understand like the interconnectedness of all things, so not just for yourself, but how you're connected to other people in the world around you, and like just kind of the infinite nature of existence and reality and our energy, and how everything is kind of constantly connected and influencing each other. Like it's maybe just really starting to kind of tap into this bigger picture view. And it's like you're not done, right? You're in process, you're kind of in transition. I feel like either it has already started or it's something that's really gonna come into being and like really start picking up in the month of February. But you're really in the process of kind of starting to receive these new insights, these new perspectives, this new information, this new way of looking at your life, and it's kind of reframing your experiences, your understanding of yourself and the things that have gone on, and seeing it from a different perspective, and it's going to be something that opens your eyes to more possibility and brings into your awareness a better understanding of yourself and a better connection to yourself. So you're in the process of kind of like receiving all of that and integrating it. And I think it's really going to open up some new doors for you because we do the best with what we have. And if we don't have that kind of bigger picture, if we don't have all of that information available to us, then we're not able to make decisions from that place. And so coming into this awareness is really going to change the way that you are able to move through the world and the decisions that you're going to make, the things that are important to you, your values. It kind of seems like you're being set up for a big shift, and it'll probably be something that's more meaningful to you on a spiritual and an emotional level. And the other kind of interesting thing, so I'm going to refer to this one first because come to life is really about getting out of your head, right? Getting out of your thoughts, getting out of your perceptions, because our thoughts can be really problematic. So we can use our brain for the sake of logic and analysis and understanding. And the problem with that is that a lot of times, like, yes, our mind loves to be busy. Our mind loves to find problems and solve problems and analyze. And that's very like practical, helpful energy. And there's definitely a time and place for that. And there's definitely a use for that. But this is basically saying like, you're being encouraged not to be trapped in your mind, like not to exist solely in your mind, not to focus so much on your thoughts and on those perceptions, and be limited by those, because they're not necessarily always helpful, right? Our thoughts are not necessarily always helpful. And they're also not representative of like the absolute truth of things, right? So if we take our thoughts for reality and they're not actually reflective of the truth, then that can take us in a direction that doesn't necessarily make sense for us or align. And it's like, that's why they call it the monkey mind. So there's a little monkey here, and she's painting herself with the paint that the monkey is holding. And so it's like you have the opportunity to come to life and to really step into your life fully and consciously and be present. So you want to make sure that you're doing that from a place of deep connection to yourself and not painting yourself with your thoughts, right? Your thoughts and your perceptions, because that will limit you, right? Because really what this is saying is like we all are at our very essence, like limitless spiritual beings. Like we are in this body, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And this kind of indicates that you're likely somebody that already understands that, or that might be an important thing for you to kind of come into understanding. And it will help you live a more conscious life and really, really come to a new level of like fulfillment if you're able to connect with that. And doing so, you kind of have to let go of your thoughts. And sometimes that's hard too, because sometimes letting go of the thoughts, like a lot of times our thoughts are influenced by our external environment. And if we're surrounded by people who are, like, for example, committed to like superficiality or like, trying to achieve or convey the idea of perfection and really heavily tied to like material things, and maybe just disconnected from the self, disconnected from spirit, disconnected from their intuition and their emotions and like, their heart, their soul, the things that really are meaningful to them. If we are absorbing that from our external environment and that's influencing the thoughts that we think, then we can kind of lock ourselves into a place where we're not achieving our potential. And so this is basically saying like don't trust the monkey mind, let your thoughts come and go. You don't have to analyze everything, but it's really about getting into your body, being aware of all of your senses, connecting with all of your senses, seeing how you're able to experience the world with more depth and really appreciate the beauty of the human experience through your senses, through your body, through your emotions too. Because the vibe that I'm kind of getting is like, I think you're almost more open to spiritual concepts and enlightenment and like kind of this idea like, oh yeah, you know, we're all, there's like a bigger picture, we're all spiritual, we're all connected, and like this really expansive energy. But I feel like maybe you're not as open to experiencing the world through your emotions, because maybe it's your emotions that spark your thoughts. So maybe those unhelpful thoughts and that like unhelpful monkey mind that can kind of get away from you and really throw you off track, maybe the times that you get the most analytical and the most in your head and have the most difficulty disconnecting from your mind is when you really are becoming more aware of or experiencing emotions. And so maybe you're pushing your emotions down and just trying to think your way through things because the emotions are uncomfortable. And this card basically says that, like, yes, you know, when we step into our body and we start living a conscious experience and we are paying attention to our emotions and our sensations, like some of those inevitably are going to be uncomfortable, right? Some of them might be really painful and sad, just like some of them might be really beautiful. And so it's remembering that even if you're experiencing something challenging or something that's uncomfortable, even if you're in the middle of something really difficult and painful, you know, there really is a benefit of staying in your emotions, honoring your emotions, and working through to release them without necessarily overanalyzing or thinking too much or internalizing that. Because in experiencing and expressing your emotions, especially like maybe you need, I think you need like a physical outlet to express, like to express through your body. So that could be movement, it could be dance, it could be something creative like art, it could be, you know, any kind of self-expression. You will know what it is for you, like what's most important to you, what you enjoy doing the most, like what feels most healing. But it's like, if you're having a hard time moving through those emotions and acknowledging and expressing them, and you have a tendency to just overthink and shut down and shut off, it's basically saying like, get more into your body, right? Get more into your senses and connect physically, right? So it's almost like express them, let them flow through you, right? And express them and get them out, because even if you're experiencing something difficult, the nature of reality is that we can experience the absolute depths of pain and suffering, but also like ultimate like bliss and love and enjoyment. So, you know, the human experience, it can be a roller coaster, right? We experience like all of those emotions at different times, and we kind of just have to let things flow. So you're really being guided to live a more conscious life in your body, through your body, not overthinking and overanalyzing. And that's going to be a key to your transformation, right? It's like just living more authentically and, you know, not shutting down from emotions, not shutting off from emotions, and then also not letting them derail your whole mindset. And the other kind of cool thing is that Tiger Eye is really, really huge for manifestation. So basically taking your dreams and bringing them into reality. So it's basically like you are harnessing the power, like you can receive your awareness, your insights, your awakening, you know, this divine kind of energy that you have access to that is like above and outside of yourself. It's not outside of yourself, is that like the answers are outside of you. It's like you come into understanding of what's right for you, like through connecting to your heart and your intuition, but that you can channel that information through you, like connecting to your highest self, you know. And if you believe in spirit guides and connecting with them and channeling information and like the higher consciousness, a higher wisdom, it's basically saying like you can channel, you can connect to like these infinite possibilities, and you can dream, and you have the ability to take from the world of the unseen, the world of inspiration, and anchor that down into reality. So express yourself, use your body as a tool to manifest your dreams into reality. And that is like really, I think, probably what this awakening is leading you to. So this new perspective, this integration of new insight and a new outlook is probably going to just help you understand and really harness your ability to manifest what it is that you desire. And with that being most important, like the connection to yourself and your heart space, so that whatever you are manifesting is something that's really like meaningful and helpful to you. And really, it seems to me that the only thing that's going to block you from being able to kind of continue along your path of awakening and integrating that kind of new level of awareness, and then really being able to affect your world and to reap the rewards of being able to live in that conscious state and take advantage of that information that's available to you, is going to be your mind and your thoughts, and just making sure that you're not running amok, and really you're embracing your emotion, you're embracing your physical experience, because your body, your physical experience, your sensations, your emotions, those are key to how you're going to express yourself and the action that you're going to take in the world to manifest whatever these dreams are. So that's really cool. I'm going to pull some tarot cards for you. We'll see what comes through. Okay. So your first card is the Two of Cups. Okay, let's get another one. Okay, you got two for this next one. So you have Temperance and the Three of Cups. I also love how those like the same kind of colors in those two cards. Okay, and let's get another card. All right, your next card is the Fool. All right, and finally, one last tarot card. I like that. The Six of Wands. Okay, and what is at the bottom of the deck? Oh, we've got King of Cups. So that goes together really nicely, actually. So, what I was saying about, experiencing life through your body, your sensations, and kind of generating a greater level of awareness and acceptance of your emotions and willingness to let those move through you, so that you don't become blocked. I think maybe if that's not something that you're already aware of that's important, it might even be like on a subconscious level, you might be feeling guided to like move in that direction and start to develop a little bit more emotional stability. And maybe what's really important to you right now is having having stability in terms of your emotions, having like a stable amount of like happiness and fulfillment, so that you're in a place where, whether things are really going beautifully or whether they're really a huge struggle, that you are still able to kind of maintain a base level of emotional stability and balance, so that you don't get too far thrown off in either direction. Like I think maybe that maybe you have been allowing yourself to sit in your emotions a little bit more, and maybe the trouble is that in allowing yourself to become more aware of your emotions, you've had more of those thoughts coming up and thoughts taking over, and the monkey mind kind of getting out of control. But I see you kind of have everything that you need to start diving deeper. And maybe you've really been focusing on self-love and like filling your own cup and, having a certain level of emotional fulfillment, right? Like I get the sense that you might be tempted to rely on validation from external sources, like other people. Like maybe you can get really focused on like garnering attention or support or really kind of getting caught up in getting that approval from other people. I feel like this is kind of something that you've been working to heal, because it might have been even like a subconscious part of you that was being expressed. And maybe that goes hand in hand with your awakening. Like maybe you're starting to realize that that was really important to you and it was something that was driving you, because it might not have been something that you were consciously valuing. But I get the sense that like you've been working to heal codependence, or you've been trying to move away from it. Like, I don't know if this is necessarily you, or maybe like you are quite often surrounded by people that are codependent and are trying to engage you in codependent interactions, whether it is your family, like romantic relationships, friendships, like colleagues, people that you've gone to school with, like however that makes sense to you. But yeah, I get the sense that that's something that you've been working on healing. And to kind of get to the next level of healing, you've had to delve a little bit deeper into your emotions and your emotional awareness, and like really kind of working through that for yourself. Because yeah, it's true. Like you can't pour from an empty cup, and you really, really need to work on filling your cup first and maintaining your happiness, your fulfillment, so that you have more to share with other people. And you don't have to deplete, right? You don't have to deplete yourself. You don't have to empty your cup in favor of filling someone else's or making someone else feel good. So when you get to a good level of emotional stability, you can sustain your own happiness, your own well-being, and you're fully taking responsibility for yourself on an emotional level, and you're not looking to someone or something outside of yourself to provide you with that fulfillment. And I think that, once you get to that level where you are doing that work for yourself, you have that perspective and you're prepared to really step into that energy of being self-sufficient on an emotional level. It kind of raises the bar for your relationships as well, because if you're not walking around with a half empty cup looking for someone else to fill it for you, you're not going to be accepting that kind of energy from someone else. So it's like your relationship with yourself really sets the bar for every other relationship. I feel like you're very much aware of this, and that's important to you. It's what you've been working on. And maybe you are very focused on bringing more relationships into your life that are healthier, that aren't codependent. You're looking for somebody who's able to do their own emotional work, to carry their own weight, to be responsible for their own happiness and fulfillment. Because yeah, it seems to me that like these really healthy, equal partnerships are something either that you're missing or something that you're just kind of really starting to focus on bringing into your life. Because you understand how like magical and connected these kinds of relationships can be when you are taking care of yourself, they are taking care of themselves, and it's two happy, whole people coming together, not to get something from one another, not to be reliant on each other, but to really just simply connect and share and enjoy life together, and share their happiness with each other, share their experiences together. And so I see like February is a really good month for focus on that, whether you meet someone, whether you've already met someone, whether you're trying to call someone in, like if that's an area of focus for you, I think this month is going to be really good for either connecting with those types of relationships or opportunities, or really like focusing on strengthening those too. And this also speaks to like soulmates, soulmates and fated connections. It could be like a twin flame type thing if you are aware of and twin flames. Also, so the tiger's eye, 56, that is an 11. So 11 might be significant to you, and 11 is quite often, 11 is quite often associated with twin flame relationships and spiritual relationships. And so it's like, if you're working on 11, you're working on your own side of the equation, and you're going to be ready to bring someone in who's kind of on your level and prepared to approach life in the same way as you. And this could also be like really actively moving away from codependent relationships in the past, and trying to cut ties with or heal the interactions and the relationships that have been codependent in the past. Mercury is in retrograde, so like maybe your ex is coming back in the picture. Either maybe your ex is coming back to you, or maybe you are tempted to go back to your ex. So I will just say, it's important to keep focusing on those relationships that feel healthy and aligned, to make sure that you're not settling or accepting like maybe unhealthy codependent behavior, because you don't want to get yourself into a dynamic where somebody is leaning on you or relying on you to give them some kind of fulfillment that they're not prepared to connect with and work for themselves. And your challenge this month is really keeping things in balance, and like this is like a card of relationships, like friendships also. So the Three of Cups is about meaningful connections, meaningful relationships, friendships. It's a sense of community. So yeah, like I can get like the soul sister vibe from this card for sure. And yeah, it's about having those emotionally fulfilling interactions, relationships, like having a greater level of depth and connection, and sharing. And it's also a card of like celebration too, right? So being able to celebrate life and enjoy life with those people. And so with Temperance, it might be actually that your challenge for this month might actually be like not going too hard, like not going too hard in terms of like really focusing and connecting with those like soul sisters, with soulmates, with those meaningful relationships, like not losing sight of yourself. So if you're doing the work to kind of take care of your own emotional landscape and to fill your own cup, relationships and expression within relationships and partnerships and friendships, it is a very important part, but it's not the be all end all. And you might be feeling really inclined to spend a lot of time with other people, or like maybe you just want to constantly like be going out or hanging out, like even if it's not like going out partying or something, it's just like like always spending time with someone else. You might be tempted to kind of like, maybe because you have a lot that's going on, maybe because you are coming into a greater level of awareness, and that can be really tiring. It can be tiring on all levels, like mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. This whole shift in perspective that you are going through, it might have you feeling maybe a little bit overwhelmed, maybe a little bit tired, maybe even a little bit hesitant to be alone and to really connect with yourself, because there's like so many other people. And these meaningful relationships, if you're able to connect with other people who are healthy emotionally and who kind of like mirror your same values, it can be very, very easy to spend a lot of time with those people, and those relationships are great. But it's about kind of keeping things in balance, right? And understanding that you at least need as much time on your own to focus on yourself, to connect with yourself, to kind of integrate this new information and really allow that to change your life, I guess, as you do allow time for connection with other people. And this can feel really good to just do that all the time. But if it ends up that you're avoiding yourself and you're not spending that time with yourself or on yourself, it's not necessarily going to make you regress because it's positive in nature. But I think it's just going to prolong this awakening process, and it's going to keep you from really being able to connect with and integrate and make the best use, right? Especially if it comes to manifestation. If there's something specific that you want to manifest, especially in your physical reality, whether it is a job or a house or a car, whether it's, money, material items, it could be a trip, it could be anything, but you really have the power to manifest and bring that down into your reality. But it's going to be very hard to do that if you don't have time alone to spend on yourself, and at least, at the very, very, very least, if you're really busy and interacting with a lot of other people, taking time for yourself to just like reconnect and touch base with yourself each day. And also I will say, normally I don't read in this manner, but because the Two of Cups and the Three of Cups is here, if you are focused on a romantic partnership, or if that is something that maybe you have connected with someone that has that potential, you're getting to know someone, maybe someone is going to be coming into your awareness this month. This Three of Cups can also represent in romantic relationships. It can represent like a third party situation. So it could be like maybe you've got two people, two romantic interests, two people that and you might have to make a choice. It can also be like maybe you'll be tempted to date two people at the same time. Or maybe like you're already in a relationship with somebody and you meet somebody that you're like, wow, this person is like my person, like, and you feel tempted to maybe stray a little bit. Like it could be different for each and every one of you. I'm just saying, like, if this makes sense to you, great. If not, don't worry about it. But it would just be aware of that. And like Temperance is all about, yeah, keeping everything in balance, balancing your light and dark, acknowledging your light and dark. And that speaks to this too. Like the depths of misery and distress is part of the human experience just as much as the absolute heights of bliss and happiness, right? And so really we just have to keep everything in balance, right? So you can't always trade out and prefer the good. We like to live in the good and connect with the good, and that might be like rose-colored glasses for you, but it's really, really important to honor the highs and the lows and to be able to experience it fully and to take that into consideration and balance that out. And it's balancing out our own light and dark aspects as well, and just being able to kind of come to a full acceptance of who we are without trying to compromise or like whitewash. I don't want to say whitewash, but like trying to like overlook our negative qualities because maybe we don't like to acknowledge that they exist, especially if we're somebody who's more spiritual and we're trying to be a positive presence in the world. But it's just as important. That duality will always be within you, and it's really important just to be able to integrate and accept that. And so you might be, yeah, there might be some amount of temptation. There might be some amount, like maybe there's something in you that's coming up to be healed, and you might be tempted to do something that you know is not right. I really have to leave that up to you, how you're going to interpret that for yourself in your own situation. But the really, really beautiful thing is that your overall, I guess, advice in terms of handling these challenges is to really like take a leap of faith, right? So the Fool is the first card in the deck, and it's literally being at the start of a journey. You haven't even taken the first step. You are just, it is pure possibility. Anything can happen. You can connect with any kind of opportunity, and it is the epitome of a fresh start. And that can be in any way that applies to you. It could be, moving to a new city. It could be moving to a new country. Maybe you're going to move. I don't know. It could be quitting a job and starting a new job. It could be completely changing your career path in terms of what you're doing. It could be going back to school. It could be new relationships. It could be just a new understanding of life because of this awakening and this kind of enlightenment and new perspective you have. But really, you are absolutely being guided to take a leap of faith. And that doesn't mean like, it's not encouraging you to be reckless and to just jump into something like recklessly without abandon. It's like the path of the Fool is a very heart-centered one. So it's not being afraid to follow your heart, the callings of your soul, the things that feel most meaningful, most fulfilling to you, the things that you're passionate about. If there is a certain concept or a certain idea that feels expansive and exciting that has been popping into your head, and you've been kind of being like, and your monkey mind gets going and it's like, nope, these are all the reasons why I can't do this, and I shouldn't do this, and it's not right. So it's really like, it's being able to take a risk that if you follow your heart and you do what is important to you, and it might come as a result, this idea or this path or this change and shift, embarking on a new path, might come as a result of these realizations that you come to through your awakening. And in terms of maybe your priorities are shifting in terms of what exactly you want to manifest. It could be a relationship. It could be more emotional depth. It could be anything like that. But yeah, it's just being willing to let yourself take a leap of faith and to trust that if you are taking action from the heart and doing things that are important to you and that you feel guided to do, that there's a world of opportunity. There's a world of possibilities. You don't have to be boxed in. You don't have to be limited. And it's just really allowing yourself to jump in with both feet and be in your experience and follow your path one step at a time. Just take the first step, and trust that you have everything within you to be successful and to navigate your way. And that whatever experience that you have when you're taking that heart-centered action is going to be whatever you need in that given moment. You're going to experience whatever is necessary for the growth and evolution of your soul to help facilitate this awakening and integration. And it's really like, that's such a beautiful energy. So you have like the ability for a lovely fresh start. And the overall energy of the month is the Six of Wands, which is a card of victory. It is a card of victory. It's recognition. So that could be external. It could be that you are receiving acknowledgement and recognition and like compliments. You're maybe getting some kind of award, or maybe it's just, in terms of your personal development, people are recognizing a shift in you or a change in you, or people are supporting you and acknowledging that maybe like you taking the first steps on this new path and jumping into taking that leap of faith. It might put you into the spotlight, into a place where people are recognizing you and honoring, how far you've come. But this is also you honoring yourself, recognizing yourself and the work that you've put in, what you've accomplished to date, what you've been successful at, and acknowledging and appreciating, your hard work and your passion. And it's not, so I always say, like, this isn't about like being so victorious and celebrating yourself and resting on your laurels. It's recognizing that being able to recognize your success and to celebrate and to be victorious as an important part of your growth, right? It's an important step on the path, because otherwise, if we never take time to acknowledge how far we've come, we can just get caught on the hamster wheel, right? And we might not necessarily get the fulfillment that we're looking for out of the work that we're putting in. So it's an important step, but it's not a place that you want to stay in, because you're not done yet, right? Like, you are gaining momentum, you're gaining success, you deserve to feel good about it. And that is meant to motivate you to keep going and to keep aligning and to keep putting the work in. And so that's a really great card to have for this month overall, because if you align with this energy, you are going to be successful. We're just putting some clarification for your cards here. So Two of Cups, we've got the Sun. But yeah, so there's kind of like the opportunity for victory, for success, right? And your next two cards, we have Strength under Temperance. Right. The Ten of Swords, interesting, under the Three of Cups. Sorry, I was just looking at the artwork. I haven't seen that card yet. All right, so the Fool is clarified by Father of Swords. And finally, let's clarify the Six of Wands. Is the Four of Cups. Huh, that's kind of cool. So at the bottom of the deck, we have Mother of Wands, which is the Queen of Wands. So that's cool. So at the bottom of the deck, we have King of Cups and Queen of Wands. So yeah, that gives me the impression that, like, it's almost like trying to, I think maybe, I don't know if you're a creative person, maybe you have a job that involves creativity, maybe you've really just started reconnecting with a specific creative outlet like art or music, or it might not even be that you are actively creating, but connecting with creations, connecting with art really deeply. And maybe that's just been like a vehicle for connection with more passion in your own life, and being able to like harness your inspiration and enthusiasm and channel that into your reality. Like that might be like influencing whatever it is that you're manifesting. But it's kind of neat, like a marriage between your emotion, your intuition, your happiness and fulfillment, and this like kind of like exciting, inspired energy and like charisma and ability to kind of like not only nurture and lead yourself and others, but to inspire as well. And the sun is here under the Two of Cups. So like, I will say, like, on a relationship level, this can be romantic relationship, as I said, quite often the Two of Cups is, but it can also be soulmates, which can manifest in any other kind of relationship and interaction. With the sun being here, it's like they're kind of, I don't know. So maybe you have met someone, maybe you will meet someone, but it seems like the opportunity for that really like be all end all partnership, that really emotionally fulfilling relationship is here because the sun is happiness. It is joy. It's also about like childlike energy and enthusiasm, like a love of life, and it's playful, it's light, it is, yeah, like anything that feels like sunshine on your face, right? And so you might just come into contact with a person, or already kind of be in touch with a person who just like really makes you feel warm and loved. They light you up, you know, they bring out the best in you, and it might be like a really playful dynamic. Maybe it's like bringing you in touch with that, but that does seem like very, very highly kind of supported this month. And I think that might also be the place where it's like getting out of your mind and into your emotions, and being able to express those emotions is really going to benefit you, because the opportunity for connection is just amazing. And the opportunity for happiness and fulfillment and like the be all end all, like the sun is the happiest card in the deck. It is like our joy. You have that. That is available to you should you choose to take it. And obviously it has a lot to do with your own relationship to yourself and what you're willing to do for yourself and your health and your happiness, keeping your own cup full. With strength here and temperance, I think like, and it's actually kind of funny because like keeping things in balance, we've got, you know, the infinity symbol here as well. And it's like, you know, energy is constantly in motion. There's always a connection. There's a give and take, like action and reaction. And so what you put out there will always come back to you. And I think that's why, even if you're in a situation where you're really being challenged or you're having a hard time keeping things in balance, it's recognizing that you have a really deep well of inner strength that you can draw on, that strength and integrity. And it is, if you're struggling to keep things in balance, or you're provided with a choice where it's like, you can kind of move in the direction of light and your highest good, or maybe something that's not as positive, or fulfilling. It's knowing that even if the decision that you know is right and best for you is really difficult, it might even result in pain, it might result in loss, there could be any number of reasons why you're feeling resistant to it. It's trusting, like, you have the strength to withstand anything that comes your way. Making that decision is only going to make you stronger and more confident. It's only going to allow you to connect with and cultivate more strength. And the sun is shining on you, right? So you will be able to have that extra sense of confidence and peace of mind, knowing that you're making decisions from a heart-centered place. And that is what is going to be most meaningful to you. And that's what's going to get you through anything that's difficult, right? Anything that's challenging. And the Three of Cups with the Ten of Swords here. So yeah, I kind of get the impression that, like, maybe not recently, but like, maybe you have a lot of pain. Maybe you've had a lot of suffering. Maybe there's been a lot of like heartbreak and betrayal in relationships in the past. And that's why you're so focused on these really deep, meaningful, equal, healthy relationships. And maybe it might be easy to get carried away to spending too much time with those individuals and not enough time on yourself. And this is also asking you to like be aware of your past experiences, be aware of the negative, limiting, harmful thoughts, the self-sabotaging thoughts that might come into your head, and the experiences that you've had that might be connected with those. Because this is basically saying, like, if you have a lot of really bothersome negative thoughts and a lot of anxiety, and if you have trouble with your monkey mind because it goes in places that are really kind of like hurtful, it's acknowledging that likely there's a lot there that's coming up to be healed and recognized, and there's a lot that you can let go of. And that is also lending to your inner strength, that you don't have to be bound to those thoughts. And sometimes it's like, this gives me the impression like, there might be a lot of emotion as a result of these experiences that you've had in relationships, or that you're trying to avoid by focusing on relationships that hasn't been released, right? And you don't like to go there because the monkey mind is full of these like really hurtful, damaging thoughts. But allowing the emotions that are connected to those thoughts and experiences to be recognized and felt and expressed, to let them move through you, is really, really going to help you along your path. And to do that requires you to, connect with your own truth. And this is also speaking your truth. So for that to go with the Fool, like taking that leap of faith and trusting that you can follow your heart, it's also really firmly and honestly communicating who you are, what's important to you, and how you feel. And you don't have to do it in a way that is hostile, or negative or derogatory, but it's like very firmly standing in your truth and not letting someone sway you, or not budging from that, right? So knowing what's true for you, knowing what's most important to you, and being able to stand up for that and communicate that firmly, right? Like taking the reins to lead your own, to lead your way, and not the sense that I'm getting is like not letting other people step on your truth, like not letting other people interfere with that, and not being afraid to just say it. Like maybe you like to be kind and gentle and save people's feelings, and so sometimes you end up tolerating a little bit more, or accepting things that aren't right for you, or going along with things, and it's really saying that now you're being asked to like connect with your own path, do what works for you. Don't get caught up or hold yourself back because of anyone else. And firmly speak your truth. You can be fair, you can be honest, you can be just. And it may upset other people, but that's not something that you can take responsibility for, because you need to free yourself of that harmful energy. And one of the best ways to do that, once you figure out what's right for you and you do your healing work, is to just stand firmly in your own truth and be honest about who you are with other people. And then with the Four of Cups being here, I kind of get the sense that like you can let go of finally like whatever it is that you feel like you've been missing on an emotional level. Like maybe you're coming out of some like emotional darkness, or a sense of like lack, or I think that it's like the opportunity for fulfillment has been under your nose the whole time, and maybe you haven't been aware of it, or maybe you haven't been in a place of gratitude because you've been distracted by other things, maybe even your thoughts. And so it's kind of like there's the opportunity for you to be really successful, to be able to celebrate yourself, to recognize your strength, and to kind of let go of whatever negative emotions are either inspired by or connected to those like unhelpful thoughts. So I'm going to get you a couple of affirmations just to tie things up, because that is everything. This, again, has been another long reading. But that's life. Okay, affirmation. Okay, so your first one. I make time to recharge my battery. The world needs my energetic light. Yep, so that goes hand in hand with this awakening is probably going to be draining you. And if you're dealing with people a lot and going out and having a lot of fun, and you're not taking time to recharge and connect with yourself, you're dimming your ability to share your light with other people, which is obviously something that you should be doing. And then I love my food. My food loves me. All right, so this is being mindful of your diet, your thoughts, and your relationship to food, making sure that you're choosing healthy things that nourish you. And that's not just like, okay, not like health, like being on a diet and being restrictive, but I mean like sometimes the healthiest thing that you can eat is like a donut or a hamburger or like something that would otherwise be regarded as unhealthy. It's like balance is important, not being too restrictive. So take a look at your relationship to food. How can you incorporate food and self-love and love of food into your meals? And mindful eating, I think, is something that also is probably important. Then it says, peace is in my pulse. So you are a being of peace. And if you ever get riled up or you feel disconnected from yourself, you lose your peace of mind. Instead, this is also confirming to get into your body instead of getting into your head and your thoughts. So you defeat the monkey mind by connecting to your body, connecting to your heartbeat, your breath, and remember that that is who you are on the inside. And finally, if I want to feel supported, I must support myself. Yep. That kind of goes along with the King of Cups, taking care of yourself, loving yourself, filling your own cup, really kind of nixing any and all codependence, whether your own, whether with somebody else, and really, taking care of yourself first, not from a selfish place, but from a place of, wanting the best for yourself, wanting to give yourself the best opportunity to live a happy and loving and fulfilling abundant life and to connect with beautiful people that are going to be supportive of that. So support yourself first, be your own best ally, and I still see a huge amount of opportunity for you to connect with really lovely people, lovely relationships, but just don't forget about yourself and don't forget about doing your work too, because you need that time for yourself and to connect with you, because you're the one that's creating and manifesting all of this. So I think that's really lovely energy for you this month, Libra. I'm going to leave your reading there. I hope this made sense. I hope this resonated and was helpful to you. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to like and share. Definitely leave me a comment and let me know if or what resonated for you. And if you feel so inclined, you can hop over to my channel at Bright Soul Collective Tarot, check out my other videos and subscribe to my channel so that you have access to new videos as they are posted. But yeah, Libra, it's been a wonderful read. It's been a pleasure reading for you, and I look forward to doing so again in the future. And in the meantime, I am sending you all the very best.